Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Nick. This week, a pretty simple project, but one that kind of really finishes a piece when you get done working on it. And that's a wire garret so that you can burn the grooves and the accents that you put in your turnings, but then also a tool that you can burn the grooves in a platter. Stick around and I'll show you how I did it. To begin making the wire burning tool, you can start out with some dowel stock, or in my case, I didn't have any, so I just turned a square piece of pine into a cylinder. Then drill a hole through the center of each of the dowel pieces. There are numerous ways in which to attach the wire to the dowel. I just threaded the wire through the hole and then looped it around and threaded it back through again. Coming back around, then I could just twist the wire around itself to secure it tightly. In the first one I made, I didn't even bother twisting it around. I figured it was just an extra insurance policy. I used a needle nose pliers to get the very end of it nice and flat so it wasn't sticking out and was going to poke me. The same can be done to the other end of the wire with the remaining dowel. Then it was over to a scrap piece of pine to make some test cuts. For the first 3 grooves I used a skew chisel, and for the second 3 I used a pointed carbide tool. You just want to make small indentations in your workpiece. In this particular example, I made some a little bit wider and deeper than others, and some very shallow. You then want to take the wire burning tool that you made, and remember that if the lathe is spinning towards you, it's going to want to pull the tool forward. So don't have an overly aggressive grip on that back dowel. Make sure it's just kind of at the tip of your fingers, so that if the lathe were to pull it in, you can just release it, and it's not going to pull your hand into the lathe. A firm, even pressure until the wire heats up and you start to see smoke. I did pretty good on 5 out of the 6 of these, but this last one wasn't fully black all the way around the dowel. I'm going to leave that so that I can show that later. Then you can just hit it up with some sandpaper to remove any fuzzies. A little bit of compressed air gets the sawdust out of the cracks, and this is what you're left with. A couple of them were a little bit wider and deeper so that it's a more pronounced line, and a couple of them were narrower just to be a small accent mark. This last one you can see wasn't fully burned in and has some unevenness to it. In that case, you'd want to go back with the wire tool and reburn that one. If you're looking for evenly spaced lines, go ahead and lay a pencil mark on the first one, and then use a compass or pair of dividers to mark out evenly spaced lines. Then it's pretty much the same procedure. If you want to use the pointed carbide tool or a skew chisel, and then come back with the wire burning tool, and now you have 4 evenly spaced lines. This tool works really well for the outside of cylinders, but what if you want to darken the edges of a platter like this ambrosia maple one that I've been working on? For that, we're going to need a different tool. I started out with a square blank, turned it into a cylinder, and then more of a tool shape, came back and added some detail marks, and burned those in with a wire tool. Then on the business end of the handle, I drilled a hole in the center, and using a needle nose pliers on a piece of tempered wire, formed it into a little bit of a hook shape. A couple dabs of CA glue in the end of the tool, and I inserted the wire, and that tool was done and ready for use. Go ahead and make your grooves as you choose. Here I use the pointed carbide tool. And then you can insert that tempered wire into the groove, waiting for smoke to form and to blacken the groove completely. In hindsight, I probably should have made the wire that protrudes out of the tool a little bit shorter to make it a little bit less flexible, but tempered wire is pretty strong, and it did a decent enough job. Well, there you go. A couple different ways to real easily burn those accent grooves in your lathe projects. Whether it's a Purple Heart bowl, a rosewood handle for a bowl gouge, or an ambrosia maple platter. Burning those grooves just kind of gives it that finished look. It's kind of an elegant look. So it's just, definitely try it if you guys haven't already. I should note on that second tool that I used for the platter, I actually used tempered wire. It's a totally different wire than what I guess you would use to hang a picture frame. So I'll leave links to all the supplies that I used in the build article, and the build article link can be found in the video description below. Also, my friend April Wilkerson used a wire garret in her project this week. I will leave a link to her video in the description below as well. Well, until I see you guys next time, you guys, take care.